You're so late. Does that count?
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Beloit City Council. It is now 7 p.m. On July 20th, 2015. We are here at the City Hall Forum at 100 State Street, Beloit, Wisconsin. Roll call.
All council members are present.
Thank you. Second item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 3 would be special orders of the day announcements. We have done today, so we will move on to item 4, public hearings. Item 4A, please.
Proposed ordinance to amend sections 30.17, sub 1B2, sub B3, sub B6, and sub B7A of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to electronically variable message signs.
Madam Director.
This ordinance amendment that's before you tonight, what it does is allows the electronically variable message board signs in the PLI zoning district. The original one that was referred to you also included C1 office district, but when the Planning Commission reviewed it, they removed the C1 from the ordinance. The second section, that's in the first and second sections, and then the third section essentially just says that they can't be located in the vision triangle so that they don't stop you from seeing around a corner. And then the final section restricts the hours that they can be on if the establishment is located, whether it abuts a residential district or is directly across the street from a residential zoning district. The directly across the street was actually added by Planning Commission at their meeting. That wasn't in the original. The original change was just to take out commercial, because by doing this ordinance amendment, we were including churches and other public institutions. So that's what's before you tonight. It's on your agenda for a hearing and to suspend the rules and take action. I will let you know, I did a little research after the Planning Commission meeting. The PLI change would affect about 180 parcels, which are generally public institutions. So it's a good chunk of those parcels are owned by us. There are parks, there's just all the public buildings we have. There's a handful of churches, because a lot of the churches are actually not zoned PLI, and then it's all the school district properties. And we did get a request. I mean, originally we brought this forward at this point as just this piece because Central Christian Church has kind of been waiting because they would like to do a sign to identify their programming. And then in the last week we also got a request from the school district because they would like to do an electronic sign for Aldridge School. So I'm guessing over time, I mean, more and more people are wanting to do the electronic signs. And if you did the C1, that's about 170 parcels, which tend to be located next to residential, which is why that language was put in there originally anyways, in case you are next to residential. And Planning Commission did recommend approval 6-0.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing on item 4A. Anyone wishing to speak on item 4A, please approach the podium and state your name and address. All right. Excellent.
Jim Vandy Bogart, 2091 Collingswood Drive, Beloit, Wisconsin. The proliferation of electronically variable signs will, in my view, in a short time be recognized as a very dangerous and unsafe way to proceed. By their very nature, they distract a driver as you proceed along a roadway or a highway. The change in color, the movement attracts the human eye, and you look at it for a moment, 2 moments, perhaps more. When you're doing that, you're not paying attention to driving. There will be injuries to people, to kids, to bicyclists, to other motorists. There will be people who are not as quick as you or I perhaps are, and they don't return to the road fast enough. As you're driving along at 40 miles an hour, whether it's on Milwaukee Road or somewhere else, if you turn and look to your right or look to your left for 5 seconds, how many hundreds of feet have you gone? What have you missed? My view is that these, in general, are a very, very dangerous and obviously proliferating issue. You spend millions of dollars trying to engineer your roads for safety. You worry about vision triangles, as Ms. Christensen just indicated. You worry about speed limits. You worry about whether there are enough warrants to require a stop sign to be placed. But yet you turn around and allow the proliferation of these distracting items. In my view, right now, the issue or the action for advertising is not in electronically variable signs. The advertisers, be they churches or whatever, are doing their very best to get onto your phone. I think these variable signs are going to be dinosaurs in 10 years, or a period of time, I don't know, 20 years. You're going to have the same issue with these signs that we had a bunch of years ago with the revolving triangular sign on Riverside Drive. The owners of it abandoned it, or were out of business, or bankrupt, or whatever, and the city had to go in and spend, I think it was $75,000 to take down this revolving triangle of steel. Well, you're going to have businesses, you're going to have other things that go out of business, they're going to leave, and the city, I think, is going to get stuck with having to decommission and take down these electronic signs. I guess that's basically what I wanted to say. The safety issue. How are you going to look some little kid who's maimed for life on his bicycle by some guy who looks at a Budweiser sign or looks at a, you pick it. I don't mean to pick on Anheuser-Busch or whoever, InBev or whoever owns them now. But the point is, it distracts the driver from what they should be doing, which is paying attention to the road. Nothing against Central Christian. I mean, obviously, they're just one of the current people who are asking for this. But you people have to balance the needs of your community and the safety of your community with the commercial interests that think this is the greatest and latest thing. I don't think it is. I think that, as I said, it's in your personal data assistant or your iPad. That's where they want to go. But right now, when you're going at 30 or 40 or 50 miles an hour, whatever it is, you're distracted when you look at it. I know when I was on the council and this issue came up, I had been told, I haven't checked it out independently, but I think the whole county of Los Angeles in California has banned these things just for the safety reason that I mentioned. Up to you. I don't know if you want to weigh that or if you want to look at it more closely, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other persons wishing to come forward and speak on item 4A?
Elmer Routes, 2450 Cranston Road. I'm here to speak on behalf of the school district of Beloit. Digital signs, they allow us to effectively communicate with our parents. It's hard to stay in touch with dates, times, events. And also they allow us to use very consistent, cost-effective messaging district-wide. Also, we have been turning our signs off when not in use. We have that capability to turn them off over the summer or at night. The modern up-to-date messaging, it really captures and holds the attention, we believe, of our audience. We can also be extremely flexible in the messages that we put on the signs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Craig Zastor. I'm the executive pastor at Central Christian Church, 2460 Milwaukee Road. I live at 1631 East Ridge Drive here in Beloit. We are obviously in favor of these signs, particularly because of the many community outreaches we have, including a feeding program weekly that feeds 150 people each week. Our Spanish ministry, which would give us the opportunity to reach that demographic in their language. We have been a host site for Black Hawk Tech graduation the last few years, and a number of other community things are recovery groups, other groups that we run. We just feel like we already are using email, we're using bulletins, we're using video in our place, but this would give us an opportunity to notify the rest of the community. So we are obviously in favor of this ordinance being changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other persons wishing to speak on item 4A? Second call for persons to come forward and speak on item 4A. Third and final call for persons to come forward and speak on item 4A. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on item 4A. We have this up for suspending the rules for a second reading. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules to bring this to the table?
Motion.
Moved by Lupke. Second by Sloniker. Councilor Lupke,
I just had a question. Julie, what would the hours be that the lights are to be turned off?
It would be turned off from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. It's on the second page of your ordinance if you wanted to change that.
Thank you.
Councilor Kincaid.
Ms. Christensen, thank you.
You were just going to speak and not ask a question.
I think I heard you say there's something over 100 PL public lands sites in the
There's
city.
183 parcels that are zoned
Yeah,
public
so-
lands and institutions.
How many of these would be, just by virtue of zoning, be eligible to request such a,
Well, there are 183 under the
183,
PLI.
yeah.
They wouldn't all get signs because it includes our floodplain, our parkland, the city hall, the fire stations. It includes every single building we own. It includes every single school district facility. It includes, actually, Beloit Historical Society, facilities owned by Alliant, the Boys and Girls Club, Beloit College, Beloit Health System, cemeteries, which I'm assuming would not want an electronic sign, the Dar Racy House, Family Services on Chopier Road, U.S. Army, and the Y.
thank you. There seems to be a lot of candidates, many of which do a lot of positive things for the community. I only hope that the ones that at least are off main roads won't be tempted to do this, but Colac Center would be a good one someday, maybe. Certainly I think we all could think of public land sites would be, one might argue that it's a good idea. I frankly don't think it is, but.
It is, I will tell you, it's an expensive sign because at one point, Parks looked at it for the pump house, and it was really expensive. And so we did not go with an electronic sign. So it's not something that is going to be easily affordable at every site because of
I
its
guess we're
cost.
blessed by the expense.
But, so I
Thank
don't
you.
think 183 parcels will have signs on them, but obviously
Thank
it's always possible. Do you have any other
Good.
questions for me?
So,
Okay.
Councilor DeForest.
Thank you. In regards to suspending the rules, I'll just speak to that first. I'm always against suspending the rules when there's not a need to suspend them. So this doesn't seem to be a timely matter, an urgent matter that we have to decide right now. So I just wanted to make that comment. We get in the habit of suspending the rules out of convenience sake, and I think part of the reason why our democracy is set up this way to have second readings is so we have more opportunity to hear from residents both for and against. So I would encourage my colleagues not to just suspend the rules for this instance.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. And I sort of concur on this one. I don't know that there's a timeliness issue that it just has to happen today. I mean, I don't see how this would be a problem to lay over for 2 weeks either. But it sort of depends upon the will of the council tonight. Do we have any other quick? Oh, yes, please. Go ahead.
I just wanted to speak to that issue and let the council members know that it's my understanding that we had, as a city organization, had been approached about the interest in pursuing an electronic sign at one particular location, and that happened quite some time ago. and I am not certain of the circumstances that have caused the delay for the deliberation on the issue. But it was my recommendation that we at least consider the suspension of the rules to avoid any additional undue delay for the institution that is particularly interested. Clearly, it is a policy decision on behalf of the council, and we will gladly implement whatever direction you choose. But I think that for reasons that still remain unclear to me, this issue has been postponed much longer than ultimately necessary. And given that sensitivity and the patience that I think folks have really been exercising in waiting for this to move forward, that was the staff intention in suggesting that you at least consider moving it forward with a suspension this evening. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
We don't know what the nature of the delay was, whether it was okay, yes.
Central Christian Church approached us about an electronic sign, and there was no way under the code to allow it. So we did do a zoning ordinance amendment, which was tabled by Plan Commission with direction to go back to the drawing board and kind of rewrite that. We had just dealt with some specific issues like the electronic signs. And then, so we went and did a comprehensive, they asked us to do a comprehensive rewrite, which we did provide or did do. And when that was completed was right about the time that Tom Casper was retiring. And so essentially during that time frame with the transition, there was no time for the attorney's office to do the legal review of our ordinance amendment. And then, as we know, as Larry got closer to retirement, he took up a lot of city attorney's time with projects. And so it just didn't move forward as quickly as possible. And now it just seems like we just keep, I mean, things just keep, as you all know, we've been real busy at the city. So other things are coming up that are taking the city attorney's time. And so what we did is we brought forward this piece so that you could at least take action on this piece. And one way or another, Central Christian would have an answer.
So it's been over a year?
Yeah, it's been closer to 2.
Okay.
So by the time all is said and
All
done,
right.
so.
That's not an unreasonable concern.
And they've been very patient, so.
Councilor Kincaid.
We certainly have to mind our priorities. I know the staff had a lot of them, so we appreciate that.
It's not working.
My sense of this particular one, and other ones that are messy in a way, no one really wants to say no. And we tell our kids to say no a lot, but sometimes it's hard to make that decision. So I think that when this comes to a vote, I'm sure I'll say no. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And Councilor Kelly.
Okay, so now it's working. Well, in truth, I don't have a problem with the sign if it has just a message. What I don't have is these multimedia sort of full color signs. So I'm not sure I know that we're going to revisit the whole ordinance. And so I'm not sure what kind of signs we're asking for right now. I mean, I know that we're asking just for the ordinance, but what is the type of sign that they want? The school district and Central Christian. Is that something they can answer, or?
Well, there is a size restriction.
Right, but I'm talking about the type of sign. Do we know what the type of sign is that we?
Be cautious.
Just,
The problem is that even if they both tell you
Sure.
that they want whatever they want, the electronic variable signs allow
Right.
what Tilly's has. So
right, I understand that.
we would have to allow that type of sign no matter what they say this evening, or anyone else, I guess.
I
if they
understand,
came
but
forward.
if they
Okay.
say they're doing something, I would trust that they will be telling the truth. I mean, they have something in mind. I'm just wondering what it is that they have in mind at this point for a sign. I know they have a size restriction, because we can always revisit the ordinance later on. I was just concerned with, I don't particularly like the sign that Tilly has. I don't think that adds anything. So I was just wondering if the sign is going to be like the high school sign, where you type your message and you let people know and it's parents are waiting and they're reading what's going on, I'm all for that. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't, so I was just wondering if you knew what type of sign they were
I
putting
don't
in.
know.
Okay.
Is that something they can answer? Allowed to answer?
We only have, with the representative from Central Christian, would you be able to address that?
Well, we had a design originally, and that design won't work because we can't put it where we were planning on. But that design was for a message board, not pictures and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that, we do not have a new design. So it was more like the high school one. Like I said, we don't have a new design yet, so, because it's going to have to be in a different location than we originally were kind of asking for, which was part of the delay.
Okay.
So that's what I can tell you. Okay?
Okay. Counselor DeForest?
It looks like Janelle was going to come forward, if that's okay.
Oh, okay,
to the
sure.
school
Oh,
district.
okay, that's fine.
So the sign we're proposing for Aldridge Intermediate School would be identical to the one that we have at Robinson. It's a 4x8. We would use it for messaging. It does actually allow for shaded graphics and video clips as well, but we would just have 3 lines. 3 lines of messaging. Very simple sign. Exactly the same as the one at Robinson.
Thank you.
Okay. go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, I'm still on suspending the rules. I'm trying to compartmentalize that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make some comments about the signs themselves. But no, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, just so you know where my head's at. I do appreciate what you've shared, City Manager Luther. This is a bit of a contentious issue. It's got some controversy, and so adding 2 weeks to 2 years, I think, is something that we should do in the name of democracy. So I guess I would just like to say again, sometimes people don't always pay attention to what's on our agendas, and then they might hear about it. I want them to feel like they have the opportunity to come back and talk to us if they're for or against it. So again, I would just like to implore that we give this another 2 weeks. So I'm sorry for the continued delay, but I really believe in allowing people to have the opportunity to express their voice on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Kincaid, you had something to add?
Thank you. Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Point of clarification is, I know this is something that Central Christian would like to have. The clarification, is this ordinance being fashioned in a way to support that request, or is this a more global thing of concern?
I can respond to that.
Yes, go ahead, Madam City Manager.
There was one specific request, but I think the fact that the school district had demonstrated an interest, clearly it was obvious that they too wanted to pursue this type of signage. And certainly the language from my perspective is a global look at how electronic signs would be allowed within whichever zoning district, if any, the council wishes to pursue. That is how it was portrayed to the Plan Commission. Any specific reference to either the school district or to Central Christian Church is simply because we have 2 active applicants who are immediately seeking electronic signs on their property, but it is not specific to those 2 properties.
Thank you.
All right. Well, my personal feelings are that there's the point that Mr. Van de Bogart brought up, that these are probably going to be dinosaurs in 10 years, is probably has a great deal of truth to it, but nevertheless, it's the wave of now. And I don't know, I personally don't think that they're all that particularly distracting. It's kind of a matter of taste. So I would have to say that I'm a little bit of ambivalent on the whole issue, kind of chewing through it myself. The item before us initially is to suspend the rules. We have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions specifically relating to suspending the rules? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the motion on suspending the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Aye. That was Sloniker, Lubke, and Hendricks. And all for nay?
Nay.
Nay. That would be Kelly, DeForest, myself, and Kincaid. So we have, the measure to suspend the rules has been defeated by a vote of 3-4. So at this point, I would say we are going to be laying this over. Do we need a motion to lay this over?
It's unnecessary, but
Unnecessary.
it's past practice of this council is to.
All right then. So I think that we'll give this a chance to sit, and then we'll chew around on it a little bit more and address this properly at our meeting in 2 weeks. Do we have a motion to lay it over?
I'll move to lay it over until our next city council meeting.
Second.
Moved by DeForest and second by Kincaid. All in favor of laying it over, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes, or a vote to lay over is, oh, okay.
I may miss the next meeting.
Oh, okay. All right, so make that 6-0 with one abstention to lay this item over. All right, then. Item 5 would be citizens' participation. We have reached the point of the meeting for members of the public to speak to the council about the issues that are coming before us or may come before us in the future. The council will not act on any requests this evening unless the item you are speaking about is already on our agenda, but we may act on requests at a future meeting or may refer the speaker to staff for assistance. We ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes or less and avoid making personal attacks. I do have one sheet for citizens' participation. That would be Walter Knight. If you could come, please approach the podium.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council, city manager. My name is Walter Knight. I live at 2028 Master Street, Beloit. And I believe I was before you in April, the first week in April, on the issue of railroad crossing repairs. I don't know how many times you get issues of you do get issues of complaints, of course, and I don't know if you get any thank yous. So my point for stopping by tonight was to say thanks.
You're welcome.
To Mr. Greg Boyson, who has pursued this initiative since April of 2014 to get our railroad crossings repaired. I'm not sure what challenges he had since this was his first experience, but I know there are challenges when you're dealing with a railroad company. And so I stopped by tonight to say thank you, to let you know that I appreciate the fact that
Thank you.
this was done. You may want to quiz him to find out just what he had to go through at some points.
Go live.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Most welcome.
Do we have any other persons wishing to come forward and speak under citizens' participation? Second call for persons to come forward and speak under citizens' participation. Third and final call for persons to come forward and speak under citizens' participation. Hearing none, I'll close citizens' participation and we will move on to the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda will be are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point of the agenda. Do I have a councilor that wishes something removed? Councilor DeForest.
I'd like to request that item C be removed, please.
Do we have any other councilors wishing to remove something from the consent agenda? Hearing none, the consent agenda consists of items 6A and B, and then items D through F. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended? Motion. Moved by Lubke, second by Sloniker. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda is passed by a vote of 7-0. Item 6C.
Item 6C is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the sale of alcoholic beverage in C2 Neighborhood Commercial District for the property located at 901 Bayless Avenue, known as, opening as Dave's Bait and Tackle.
And this is a referral to plan. Madam Director.
This is conditional use to allow alcohol sales at Dave's Bait and Tackle, where they used to have alcohol sales before, but it was vacant for a period of time. This will go to Plan Commission on Wednesday, come back to you at your next meeting if all goes well. They are requesting beer only, not full alcohol sales. And there's a recommended condition of approval that would restrict them to that.
Okay.
And we did notify the neighbors, and so far had not heard anything from anyone. But a lot of the adjacent business or adjacent people are actually businesses. So I don't know if you have any questions, or you wanted me to pass something on to plan, or you want Chuck to pass something on to plan.
Yes, please. I pulled it from the consent agenda because I'd like to request that we receive a, sorry, I'm drawing a blank, a report of criminal activity in this vicinity. And I don't know, calls for service. So I'd like to request calls for service in this area when that comes back to us.
How broad of an area are you
If we
thinking?
could go out,
Block or a couple
yeah, probably a
blocks,
block or two within the vicinity. I think that would be helpful. It is at an intersection, so I'm trying to figure out how to frame it, but if we could say a block in each direction, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
I'll see what PD can do for us.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if Chief even hears that we're, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
It's a vulnerable neighborhood, so I just want to make sure. Thank
Councilor
you.
Lubke, did you have something you
I
wanted to
just think we have to appreciate the fact that that store's been there probably for 50 years, and it's being renovated. They put special parking in there to accommodate the cars on park. I hope the report is going to maybe reflect negatively, because a bar was just closed down about 2 blocks down that had a lot of calls. So I hope that doesn't reflect negatively. There's a very successful restaurant right next door. The current owners are very reputable. I think both were former School District of Beloit employees who are doing this venture as a small business, and they, I think their reputations will help them along. But again, we are going in an established business, and it looks like it's being cleaned up quite a bit from what it was in the past. So we have a brand-new road out there, compliments of the city of Beloit and the township. They've shared the expense on that road. The church down about 2 blocks down has been renovated, former Waterman School. So the area is on the up, and I think the addition of this bait shop was selling beer only will only enhance what's already been done in that area. I just wanted to add that to the dialogue. Thank
Well,
you.
this is just a refer to plan, so I'll get a chance to talk about it when it comes back. All right, do we have a motion to approve the referral to plan?
So moved.
Moved by DeForest, second by Kelly. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes 7-0. All right, item 7 is ordinances. Item 7A.
Item 7A is a proposed ordinance to repeal and recreate Section 1.10 of the Code of General Ordinances for the City of Beloit pertaining to emergency management.
Chief.
Good evening, councilors.
Good evening.
This is an ordinance that we are going to reorganize the emergency management function in the city. City has moved the emergency management function into the fire department with retirement of Mike Sharmita, our general services and risk manager. The goal of this ordinance is to change as a mirror to state statute and make compliant all of our language in this ordinance with the National Incident Management System and the National Response Framework. The emergency management function should be performed as a critical supporting role in accordance with the National Response Model. Our current ordinance puts it in a command function. So this really solidifies what we should be doing from a response perspective and making sure that we're supporting emergency responders when they're in the field. And I want to define for you that emergency response role as police, fire, emergency medical services, and the Department of Public Works. In addition to that, all of our city employees have in their job description a requirement to assist and respond to a disaster in using the skill sets that they are hired to do. For instance, if an administrative assistant is available, they would help be a scribe in the Emergency Operations Center. An engineer would be helping with damage assessment. A firefighter or police officer would be doing their emergency response role. So everyone has a role in government, and this ordinance helps us accomplish that. One of the things that we previously did not have in our ordinance is a line of succession for the emergency manager. This will create that. Also, the continuity of government line of succession for the city manager has been revised somewhat, and it expands the involvement of the entire city management team in the Emergency Operations Center. Finally, it gets us in compliance with our National Incident Management System and creates some training requirements for all of our employees, which is actually a requirement to receive grant funds through FEMA. It's also a requirement to receive emergency funding through FEMA. So that'll get us all in compliant with that. I would entertain any questions you may have.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments for the chief? It all seems pretty straightforward. I'm glad we're getting to this.
Thank you very much.
All right then. Do we have a motion to lay this over to the next meeting? This is a layover. Yes, that's.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Moved by Lupke, second by Sloniker. All right, all in favor of laying this one over to the next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes 7-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll get a chance to look at this again. All right. Item 8 is appointments. We have some appointments. I, the undersigned Charles Haynes, duly elected President of the Beloit City Council and subject to confirmation by the Beloit City Council, does hereby appoint the following citizen members to the vacancies and terms indicated below, said appointments being pursuant to nominations made and approved by the Appointment Review Committee at the regular meeting held on July 13th, 2015. The appointments forward to the Alcohol Beverage Licensing Control Committee, John N. Metter, 1336 Moore Street, to a term ending June 30th, 2017. To the Municipal Golf Committee, ex officio member Chris Moxley, 2150 Yorkshire Drive, replacing Bess Davies as Women's Club representative. Ex officio member Gary Elgard, 2524 White Oaks Drive, replacing Gary Shearer as Senior Club rep. The Municipal Library Board, ex officio member Nora Gard, 2524 White Oaks Drive, replacing Missy Henderson as the School District of Beloit's representative for the 2015-2016 school year. And incumbent Mary Beth Miller to a term ending June 30th, 2018. Do I have a motion to approve the appointments?
So moved.
Moved by Kincaid, second by Sloniker. Do we have any comments or questions on the appointments?
If I may say, it appears that the Appointment Review Committee has found some excellent candidates for these posts, and we all certainly appreciate it, especially on the Golf Committee.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So, okay. Be helpful if I hit the right button, wouldn't it? Okay, so all in favor of approval of the appointments, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Appointments passed by a vote of 7-0. I'd like to announce the following vacancies. To the Alcohol Beverage Licensing Control Committee, there are 2 vacancies for residents. Appointment Review Commission, or Committee, 1 vacancy for resident. A Board of Appeals, 2 vacancies alternate for residents. Board of Ethics, 1 vacancy for former city councilors, 3 vacancies for residents. Board of Review, 1 vacancy for resident, 2 vacancies alternate for residents. Community Development Authority has 1 vacancy for resident. Equal Opportunity Commission has 2 vacancies for residents. Parks and Rec Conservation Commission, 1 vacancy for youth representative. And the Traffic Review Committee has 2 vacancies for residents. If a person has a desire to help their community, I can think of no greater way that they could have their voice heard and to support your local government than to be a member of one of these commissions. If you do have an interest, I would suggest that you research this on the city's website and speak with the clerk or the city manager's office. Item 9, councilors' activities and upcoming events. Let's start with Councilor Sloniker.
I was able to go on the parks tour. The thing I learned the most is there's, it's called disc golf. I've never seen that before, so that was kind of interesting to me. And to see Sheila play on the playground equipment, so that was a highlight. And then today was the SLATS meeting. We discussed the roads around the county and everything. Like Prairie Road is a little behind schedule. The other road, I'm not sure what, Inman, it's on schedule, so it's progressing. So that's all that I had to share.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Hendricks.
I have a thank you this evening. I run the pre-college, Help Yourself pre-college programs through Beloit College, and a few weeks ago I sent 30 of my high schoolers on a scavenger hunt through downtown Beloit, and they came back with reports of people helping them out. One of them on there was take a picture with a city official or a city employee, and they brought back, they had to show me proof, and there was an officer. I'm still trying to figure out who it is, so I might have them send me the picture, but got out of his car and actually took a picture with the students so they could come back and show me, like, I did it. That means a lot to me. It meant a lot to our students, that we're taking an active interest in our young people. A lot of the times you see young people running downtown, and it's like, is that trouble? No, they're learning more. Our week was Beloitology, so they were learning more about our city, specifically downtown that day. They came in, they had to take a picture with all of the past city managers, and I didn't tell them how, but they found that wall. So it was a fun way for them to get to know Beloit. So I know they went to a few businesses downtown, so I just wanted to give a public thank you to the businesses, anyone that was working, the officer that I'm going to find because they didn't take his badge number or his name or anything. But I just wanted to give a thank you.
Thanks. All right, Councilor Lupke.
I want to remind citizens and all of us, the annual night out is August 3rd. And time to get the applications in right now if you want to have a street barbecue or picnic with all your friends. And these have been wonderful in the past to go around to. Also, Harry's Place, I've said this before, it's getting bigger and better. And I just love seeing all the Beloiters. But on top of that, people from Rockford and Janesville and Brockton, Roscoe. So maybe they're thinking of moving here. But let's see, this Friday night, this is the pen that I get. This Friday night will be Mr. Big Stuff. And so, anybody didn't get a pen? Did you get a pen?
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to go to Marilyn so she can go. But anyway, that's Friday night, 7 o'clock. There are no mosquitoes, lots of good food. So, hope to see everybody down there. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Councilor Kelly.
Yeah, man. All right, well, I wasn't going to report anything, but I did go to the Flying Pig on Sunday. And it was amazing how many people were downtown on a Sunday. Usually downtown is deserted on Sunday. People were just streaming in through the place. There must have been 30 people to the time that I was there in a half hour. So it's just great to see people downtown, even when it's not Saturday. So that was it.
Yeah. Councilor Kincaid.
I must say I went to another bountiful farmer's market. I urge all of you to go. I'll see you there. I say no more. Nevertheless, I'll be there. I attended the second golf committee meeting this past Tuesday, and I would like to report it as a well-functioning committee of dedicated golfers, and I was there as a non-golfer and just an observer, but I considered myself dedicated. But those who were there were working very hard at what the issues are, and we know that the golf course has much to work on, and I can tell you that there are those who are intensely interested in it, along with the support of the staff.
All right, thank you. Councilor DeForest.
Thank you. I too thoroughly enjoyed the parks tour. It was wonderful, and I appreciate all of the park users who stopped to speak with us when we asked them, "What do you love about this park? What would you change?" It was a great opportunity to get out and about, and I did enjoy the camaraderie of the group of the Parks and Rec Commission members. So thank you to them for taking several hours to go look at all of our parks on one side of the city. I also attended Farmers Market, which I enjoy as well. And I wanted to also indicate that I attended the Criminal Justice Coordination Council meeting. This is a countywide collaboration between all of the criminal justice and law enforcement agencies who are working together to do a better job of meeting the needs of individuals who have mental illness and substance abuse. And I just want to acknowledge that I really appreciate that our own Chief Zabalski was there. Appreciate that, because we hadn't had some Beloit representation in quite some time. So thank you for making the effort to be there. It meant a lot to the other stakeholders there that we had representation from Beloit. I want to make sure that I extend my thank you to Mr. Boyson as well. I'm so glad that Mr. Knight came to thank you. So often our city employees do these great things and we don't always know and hear the thank you, but I know you had to go toe-to-toe with that railroad company, and he did it, yes. So it's wonderful. I want to extend my condolences to the families of Charles Listenby and Marilyn Kilgore, two incredible Beloit residents who have given so much to others in our community, and they will be missed, and my heart goes out to their families. And then a couple of announcements. There's a lot going on the 25th on Saturday. I want to make sure you can see this. This is the Unity in the Community event, and it's going to be at Switch Track Alley in Merrill neighborhood, and a wonderful event. This will be the second annual, and so hope to see you there. It is from 12 until 5, and then also at 11 that same day, the NAACP will have a meeting at Merrill Community Center to really address some programming planning issues related to violence prevention. So those two events are going on. And then finally, I just wanted to announce and apologize. I will be missing the next city council meeting as well as National Night Out. This will be my first ever National Night Out that I've missed, and I hate that I'm missing it, but my daughter is in DC doing an internship and I need to go retrieve my daughter. So I will be gone and miss both of those events. So I apologize in advance to residents that I will not be here for those. Thank you.
All right, and I have nothing to add tonight. So item 10 would be city manager's presentation. We have none. 11 reports from city boards and city officers. We have none. So the item that next turns us to it is item 12 is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Item.
I'll second.
Motion by Sloniker, second by DeForest. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.